Hello, I'm Sean Ryan from the GAA room. I'm delighted to be joined by the former President of GAA and MEP, Sean Kelly, in the European Parliament. Sean, how are you?
Very well, Sean. Welcome to the European Parliament.
Thanks, yeah, I think it's my second time. And last time I seen you there in the AGM as well, so I had a little chat there.
The only club in the world that holds its AGM in Parliament.
Yeah.
As President, I can organise that.
Yeah, and we definitely thank you for it. I'm going to jump straight into it. This year, everyone's very excited about the new All-Ireland series. I know you've been an advocate on pushing or making a change in the All-Ireland series, and I think a lot of people are excited about it. So I wanted to get your opinion on this new format. I know it wasn't, originally we had Proposal B back maybe 2 years ago, and we've had a few different changes and a few different times it failed, but I'm glad to see it getting through, at least something coming along. What's your opinion on it now? Do you think maybe there's a few more changes that might be needed to it?
Well, I tell you now, Sean, the proposals which were accepted at Congress last year and are now coming into operation are the exact proposals that I proposed over 10 years ago in an article to the Irish Examiner. And I was very surprised when we had a special Congress 2 years ago, when there were two proposals and none of them included the proposals we have now. They were rejected, so that to go back and look at it, and we said to the President's proposal is the best proposal. Let her fly. And in fairness to Tom Parsons of the GPA, etc., they all agreed with it. So it was passed. It's now coming into operation. I think it's going to be a great success. And already we've seen that it has put counties thinking of how they're going to approach both the league, which they have to do well enough to be guaranteed entry to the Sun World Cup. So it has enhanced the league. And also, for some at least, if they want to get into the Summer World Cup, they have to qualify for the final possibly of provincial championship. And of course, we will see how the round robin series works out. But again, there's huge excitement building regarding it, and I'm certainly looking forward to it.
And do you think if you were able to basically make a few little changes, would you have any, or do you think we'll see how we go this year, see what works, and then possibly in a year or 2 or 3 years' time, kind of look back at it and say, okay, we can do this different or this different? You think that's the best way to go?
The only place it deviated from my proposal was in the qualification from the round robin. I suggested that out of 4, we should have 1 on a maximum 2. But in actual fact, they're having 3. 1 qualifies and the other than 2 be after. So I think that could actually lead to quite a few dead rubber games. I mentioned that actually at Congress, and the officials said no, but the proof will be how it works out. But definitely, I would like to have it more competitive, because in every round robin series that I know of, where there's out of 4, a maximum of 2 come out. But we can always change that if it doesn't work out. Overall, I think it's going to be very successful. And also the proposal I had that the provincial champions will be new. That's very important. That's agreed. And also that the winners of the Tailteann Cup the previous year are automatically into the Samba World Cup. So all that's positive. And I'm looking forward to implementing both the Samba World and the Tailteann Cups can actually be enhanced and become more effective over the years to go.
I definitely agree with everything that you were saying there, especially even the 2 teams over 3 teams, but we can definitely see how we go. There's also been, when these conversations were happening, a lot of them was around provincial championships as well. And myself being a Meath fan, it's been not the best last 10 years in the Leinster provincial championships. And it's seen that this year now, some teams are possibly benefiting from getting knocked out of the provincial championship early. So the likes of maybe Mayo, who got knocked out straight away, who then have now a 6-week gap or 5 or 6 week gap until the round robin starts. And then you see the likes of maybe Armagh or Derry, who are dogging their way through the Ulster final and to get to the same place. I know there's still the pride of winning your provincial championships, but I wanted to ask you, what do you see as the future of the provincial championships in the next 5 or 10 years? Do you still think there's a strong place for them with this format, or how do you see it?
I think there will be. I think firstly for companies won't qualify automatically for the Sun Maguire Cup. They have to go all out to do as well as they can the championship so they can get in to the Sun Maguire Cup. But also, in terms of momentum, it can be well. And if people can say winning a provincial championship is not an asset, I don't think that's the case. When you look at it, they predict different players. When they retire often, people look at honours. There are only a few honours you can win. The All-Ireland Series, the Championship, the League, or Provincial Championship. Now, it's better to have it in the mid honours won A, B, C, D, E, than and over. Nothing. So I think that is very important. And the momentum gathered from winning can't replicate it. So it remains to be seen, is it an asset for some counties, maybe for a few, like Mayo this year because they were quite strongly in the league, they won the league, and they had a provincial championship semi-final the following week. They may need a break, but for others, big out the provincial championship, they lost. You don't lose unless the opposition is better new. So we've got to work to do this one.
No, I think that's a very good point, and someone told me before when I had a discussion here in Brussels, and he was saying that he knew a few people from Westmeath who won all those years back, and saying winning that Leinster was definitely the most pride and joy they had in their inter-county career, which exactly you said. So that is a very good point. I'll go back to what you said there about you have the round robin and you had your three teams getting through out of 4. I think I seen somewhere that basically you're playing 24 games to knock out 4 teams, I think is how the maths have it done there. And if you're an inter-county player, you're starting possibly in January for the O'Byrne Cup, and then you've got the league, well, O'Byrne say for Leinster, but we all, the other ones as well. You're starting in January, then you could go into your league, and then you have your championship, and you mightn't finish until June or possibly even July, how well you're doing. And then you finish up and you go into your clubs, and you could be starting your club championship in August, in September, October, and maybe even November, even further, depending if you win and you go into your provincial and All-Ireland. You've seen the likes of maybe Conor Glass last year for Derry coming all the way, and it's nearly a full cycle, and there's nearly no break for some of these teams. And a bit of player welfare, I think, needs to possibly come into this. What do you think needs to be done, or do you think something needs to be done in terms of, from a spectator's point of view, it's great to see all these games, but the players also need to be looked after a small bit then for their injuries and so on, and then even just life outside of the GAA as well. So you think there's more needs to be done there?
That's something that needs to be looked at. And the perfect example, Sean, of the point you're making, are the 2 lads in my old club at home, in Fussell. 2 Cliffs.
Yeah.
They were going non-stop, not just for 12 months, but the club qualified for the All-Ireland finals. The club, and we won, was fantastic. That was played in January, and they were straight into the league. So now it's off on another go out, so they'll have probably no break for 2 years. Is that bad for them? Well, then tell you that it's great to win because they won everything. But if you're right, you'd have to consider the player welfare issues in it, in relation to possible injuries, particularly players who would have history of injury, adding this upon it. But I do think, though, that the split season is a good thing, because for now at least it gives a certain amount of certainty. We all know when the games are on. Okay, people will say that we're leaving August and September over to other sports, but the player welfare of the players, as they precedence, they're happy with the split season. And while the pressure on the club is obviously very important, it isn't as real, or commitment isn't the same in terms of travelling, because you have to travel to a central location. It's at a local level, and usually it builds up over a period of time. So I think most players are quite happy to take it. And of course, as you go forward, more and more get knocked out. So that pressure, which is very real, and you're right about player welfare, will affect a very small minority, but that doesn't mean that you ignore it. So I think it is something that needs to be watched.
Yeah, 100%. I'm agreeing on everything you're saying so far. It's been very good. There's been no definitely disagreements here. We've seen the last couple of months a bit of a, I don't know if it's because it's just an increase or there's just been an increase of people reporting it, of discrimination and incidents of abuse throughout the GAA in both hurling and football, and it has no place in the GAA and it has no place in society. And I know there's been a hire in this year's Congress, they've doubled the times of bans and so on. But as former president of GAA, I wanted to ask you, what do you think about what's happening, and what is there more that the GAA can do? Is there more that they can do, say, with the An Garda Síochána? Or what do you see, or what do you think? Because I know you did write about this recently, so I wanted to ask your opinion on it again, just to get it.
I think it'd be preferable if the GAA could deal with it themselves, but they have to deal with it effectively. And there is no point saying that it is out of character for somebody to either racially abuse a player, or to be abusing, or maybe physically sometimes, pushing, maybe assaulting an official. It's just not acceptable. And it has to be taken at its own level, regardless of the personalities involved. And the penalties have to be very, very severe. And particularly in relation to some incidents, I think even the ban was doubled, I agree with it, it's probably not enough. Because we have to send out a message. Sorry lads and lassies, zero tolerance here. And if the penalty is strong enough, people will think twice about it. But we do have a tendency to say, and it's probably true, that the individual who lost the head, let's say, and committed these acts, there's a pile of good work on a volunteer basis at club level. Forget about that. We have to deal with the issue, and that's it, and penalise the issue. And I think that would make a big difference if we could do that, because it's just not good enough. I mean, I wrote recently that when my good friend, former President Joe McDonough, was president, that was way back in 1996, 1997, 98, thereabouts. He introduced show racism, the red card. And to have it going on now, as we saw recently in relation to leeching, it's just not good enough. But we just have to stamp it out.
Yeah, no, 100% agreeing again. No, it's something that it's very not nice to see, and we're seeing a bit more of it as well. So I 100% agree with you there. So we're here to the last question. The people in GG and Gaelic Games Europe would probably get a bit annoyed at me if I didn't ask about playing GAA abroad or playing it in Europe. But me being I'm a committee member with Belgium GAA, you of course are our honorary president. We have the World Games coming up in July. I'm going to go on and play a bit of hurling for us in Derry this year, and there's going to be around 2,000 players going to Derry. But I just wanted to ask you, how important do you think it is to play the GAA outside of Ireland and to promote it and keep a strong presence there?
Very important. And just show you the slight difference. It's the first time I have been asked the question when it wasn't in GAA that was used for GG, Gaelic Games, which is good. So people know that now. GG, GAA. So Sean introduced it. It just shows that things can vary internationally. But I was privileged under Sean McKay, God be good to him, wonderful president, didn't get the credit he deserved, but he appointed me as the chairman of the Overseas Committee. And at that time, he gave me a great perspective on how important it was. It's absolutely wonderful to see the GAA growing and growing and bringing people together, and even people from outside of the GAA. We had a lady working for me here, with the last mandate, Jelena Radikovich. She's from Serbia. She joined, she played, she was one for a camogie player, football player, and secretary of the club. So he creates a social outlet for many people and brings people into the GAA. And I want to see it recognised more. And I suppose, in fairness to the GAA, the fact that Larry McCarthy, who was domiciled in New York and in Harlem, New York all his life, was elected president of the GAA, I think that in itself says we're a worldwide organisation, but we probably should be doing more to help the GAA internationally as well. Now, the World Games are great, and I hope they're a great success in Derry. I'm quite sure that Derry people will leave no stone unturned to make great success of them. The teams coming will enjoy the adventure, and obviously they'll be as competitive as in Ireland, but definitely we should probably have at this stage now, look at a strategy of where we want to go internationally. How wide do we want to become? Are we going to go beyond the GAA altogether, or is it going to be the diaspora, inviting people in, which has worked so well up until now. But definitely, the international dimension is fantastic, and I hope to see it developing and growing all over the world for many years to come.
Yeah, I'm heavily involved with the GAA over here, and I don't think I would still be in Brussels, living in Brussels, only that I'm playing GAA and met the likes of Liam, of course, who's behind the camera. Yeah, he didn't want the shout out, but thanks very much, Liam, for organising this. But Sean, thanks very much for coming on for a chat with me with the GAA room, and I really appreciate it. Yeah. We're going to Eindhoven in 2 weeks' time, so we'll hopefully do well there.
All those Danish footballers that come over here now. Belgium.
Yeah, Belgium, exactly. So that's myself then, joined by former President of GAA and MEP Sean Kelly. I want to thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye bye.